Hello, this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, presents Coffee Talk with the listing pros in real estate. And this week, my guest is Alexa Sanchez of Vero Real Estate in the Pocono regions of Pennsylvania. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm great, Alexa. Alexa, is it going to be sunny tomorrow?
No.
That's what I asked. I ask my Alexa every night, is it going to be sunny tomorrow? And she goes, I don't understand that question.
Sounds like something I would say.
But here I am with the real Alexa Sanchez, the listing pro of real estate in Pocono Mountains. How are the mountains these days?
The mountains these days is hot. It's on fire. Our market is just bursting. We have no inventory.
Oh, that's even better.
I know.
So you're out there pounding the pavement for listings.
Pounding the pavement for listings. Yep.
And so this is a teaching tool for all listers. So I'm going to come right out with a first question. Well, first of all, how did you get started in real estate? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Then I'll fire away at the questions.
You want the abridged version, I'm guessing, right? Okay.
Yeah, we only got 30 minutes of this program.
Honestly, I don't know this about me, Joe, but I've only been in real estate 6 years.
Wow.
July
Wow.
1st was my 6th anniversary.
I know we met sitting next to each other in a classroom at Triple Play,
Yeah.
which is our conference, our annual conference, which we're not having this year because of COVID. But you are a 6-year veteran in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you originally come from, or tell us a little bit about that?
Prior to real estate, I was in the corporate world. I was a high-level manager for, I'll just say it, for Verizon. And I had a team of 25 agents under, and we were, by the time I got finished with them, we were top 3 in the nation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So I came from a sales environment, and it was a natural fit to go into real estate. Just the sales process. Once you start learning scripts for one industry, you can pretty much follow it for other industries. And so I started out in real estate. At home, my girls were very young at the time, and my corporate job was taking me out of the home for about 16 hours a day. Lo and behold, I didn't know real estate would do the same thing, but I had a little more flexibility,
Surprise.
right? No one told me.
Surprise. They don't tell you have to wake up with the sun and go to bed with the moon, right?
Yeah, that. I thought I was going to have more flexibility and more time at home, which I did. But I was able to be home for my daughters for the key important moments in their lives. You know, they were 12 and 13 at the time. And now I have one off to college and another one who's a senior in high school.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And you're 21, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll stick.
So tell me, what is your secret sauce of real estate?
I don't
Listings. What's
I
your secret sauce?
I don't think there's a secret. You know, my follow up, and that's not a secret. Any coach will tell you follow up. You know, you have to have a good follow up routine with any client, whether it's a list or a buy.
Mm-hmm.
Your follow up has to be consistent and has to be um, natural. It has to be you. It has to be authentic. It can't be, a cookie cutter script. It has to be authentic. And I believe that's my secret to my success. Just the fact that I follow up with each and every. I'm not afraid of the no. The no hurts, and I have gotten no's, but I also know that after every no, there's a yes that's going to come, or I'm closer to a yes. And you just got to keep at it until you perfect your own rhythm and your own routine and your own way of doing business. You're not always going to jive with everyone, but as long as you present yourself in your authentic self and in your true self, you're going to do well in this business. Whether
But
you're
it wasn't always that just plain cut and simple. When you first got into the business, what were your growing pains
Um,
about listing? Like, did you say, "Oh, I hate listings. I want to concentrate on sales. I hate sales. I want to concentrate on listings." Did you do that
so
before you knew which one?
so actually, I do about 50-50 still, um,
Oh, okay.
because many of my previous I started as a buyer's agent, and many of those buyers years ago now want to list and either upgrade or downgrade.
Right.
My follow-up routine, I still keep in touch with those buyers from way back when I'm listing their homes, but way back then I was afraid of the list. I was afraid of, you know, did they fill out their property disclosure properly? Did they disclose everything? Because the name of the game, disclose, disclose, disclose. And if I can't take onus of it, I would be afraid of taking someone else's word for it. But at the same time, you have to take their word for it that they're
Hmm.
disclosing. So I had to get past some of those barriers, some of those my own internal barriers of needing to be on the driver's seat the whole time.
Hey, let me ask you a question on the disclosure form. This
Mm,
is a sidebar question. Does your state have, like my state, where you have to pay $500 to the buyer at closing? Do you credit the buyer 500?
no.
Just from your reaction alone, I could tell you that our state is all screwed up. But in our state, the disclosure form, when you try to disclose something to a buyer, it's like, I think it gives you a history of the house.
It's
It gives you a
supposed-
history of what you did, right?
right. It's
But in
supposed
our state, the lawyers are so afraid of this disclosure form that they came up with a $500 credit to the buyer so that the buyer doesn't have the ability to sue the seller up to 3 years after they close. Would you believe it? So if
wow.
they fill it in, they're on the hook for 3 years, the seller in
Wow.
our state. But in your state, you just disclose, right? You have a property condition
Well,
disclosure form. It's cut
and
and dry.
it's pretty much cut and dry. It gives you, and history of the house. If filled out correctly, you would have a full history of the house. It's not
What
always,
went wrong in New York?
don't,
What goes wrong in New York?
but there is also a hold harmless clause in it. That this is only a disclosure. It is not to replace an inspection.
Right.
And if you follow the process, the final walkthrough report, the day of closing, you do a walkthrough, and that report, even at the end of that, this is, there's a hold harmless in there. Once you're handed the keys, you can't sue anybody. Like that was your last opportunity to say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not happy.
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I believe Connecticut, New Jersey, and Rhode Island are the same way. But when it comes to New York, Connecticut, I mean, all these places, they just get complicated with laws, and the as
Um,
soon as we're an attorney state, so we it they the attorneys should be consulting us on what is the right thing for us to do in our business, rather than sitting there and dictating to us how our businesses are run. It's terrible.
yeah.
So getting back to listings,
Yeah,
um, what special technology do you use in your listings?
I don't use anything special. I use the tools that are available to me. So if you're asking me about how I create CMAs, I'll use my MLS and I run it against RPR. I do use both tools.
There's the one, RPR.
Mm-hmm. So
Not too many people use it.
why not? It's an NAR member benefit. It's there. It's free. You can look up pretty much anything. Why not? Why not use it?
A lot of agents don't know how to use it. They
Oh,
don't even educate themselves on how to use it. But a
well,
lot of them who do use it find it a little bit smarter and much more professional way of presenting a CMA.
it is very professional. I mean, not to say that the one that my MLS spits out is not professional looking, but this is much. RPR has nicer graphics, and
Mhm.
it just has so much more information that when you present it to a seller, it you can bind it and it looks really, really nice.
It really does. And do you use like drone technology, professional photography, Matterport, or walkthrough
Yeah,
videography?
I use Matterport.
Okay.
Drone photography, I have not used it in a while. It was not something, at least here, that really ups values or anything like that. I noticed that for certain markets, things work better. In this market, not yet. I mean, it's up and coming, but I stopped using drone photography because it really didn't. The
What
return
about
on investment
floor
was.
plans?
Hmm?
What about floor plans?
I use the Matterport one.
I use the Matterport. That's awesome. Matterport is the 3D tour for those people who don't understand. That it's a walkthrough, room by room, and then the floor plans are exact on Matterport with
They're
the 3D
they're
technology.
they're not exact, but they're about 95%. You
All
know,
right, lie a little bit. No, I'm only kidding. How many? How many? What was the percentage you gave them?
I say like 95 because when I
Yeah,
compare it to
yeah,
my,
that's about right. Yeah.
I'm doing mine and I'm looking at my square footage, and when I measure rooms myself, like sometimes they're a little off, but not by a lot. Not by a
It's
lot.
whoever. It depends on whoever does them. Hey,
Right.
do you take pictures with your cell phone still?
Actually, I do.
You do, right?
I do.
Uh, because you're a professional, you know how to do that.
Be-
There's some agents that take pictures with the toilet seat up and then the
oh,
shower curtain this way, and I love those pictures on the MLS.
ooh, no. So, believe it or not, I spoke with a photographer, and the photographer that I use for my professional shoots, for my home staging and all that. And he said to me, he said, "You know that the camera on your iPhone is just as strong as the camera on my Canon?" I'm like, "Really?" He says, "All you have to do is learn how to take it on your phone."
That's right.
And so do still use the professional photographer only because I like taking things off of my plate. I don't have to go and do it myself. But when I do use my iPhone, I use those shots for social media posts because from there it's easier to just drop that picture into Canva or whatever, right into Instagram, create what you're going to create for your marketing and shoot it off because it's already on your phone.
So you use social media to market your listings,
Ab-
right? What's your rate of return on social media? Is it a good rate of return, bad, indifferent?
I'm indifferent because I don't pay for advertising. I've set up my social media in a way where I use their algorithms to target certain demographics.
That's awesome.
But again, I'm techie, so I know how to do that. So I don't have to pay for you know a boost on Facebook. Um, and it's nice.
Does
It's
it bring you a lot of customers, a lot of buyers, customers that way?
more buyers than sellers, but that's okay. I'm okay with buyers as well. I love to list. Trust me, but I won't say no to a buyer.
You love to list so much that I don't know if the people here could see it, but look at your shirt. Look
Yes.
at your shirt. What does it say? You only list once. I think
No, no,
that
no.
is a
You got
true
the
list.
bottom. You got the bottom.
Oh, wait, and you list with me?
When you
When
list,
you list with me. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love to.
Um, have you ever had listings that for the life of you didn't sell and you did everything in your power to try to sell it?
Yes.
What do you think was wrong?
Um. Sometimes the marketing wasn't there. Sometimes it is on me. I did, because I do try to reflect on those, and if I lost the extension on the listing, or um, sometimes the price point, as much as I would try to get a seller to reduce to do a correction, they won't, because they need a certain amount in the bank, and when you can't talk them into, well, I don't want to say talk into because that sounds kind of salesy, but when you can't get a seller to see the benefit of maybe a short sale,
Mm,
because sometimes that's the answer. But
right.
stigma around it, and there shouldn't be, because if it works, why not?
And
Um,
you're pulling them out of a spot, you're taking them right out of a hole. And if they want to buy a house in 7 years from now and they're still young,
I thought it was
um,
less than that. I thought it was 3 years now.
3 years, sorry, 3 years, um, then they can, buy something. And, here you are, you came to their rescue.
Right,
You
but
get you have a lot of foreclosures in your area, do you? Short sales and
we
foreclosures?
did. We kind of came out of that. There's still
Good.
a few, but not as much as we used to have.
I remember going to my uncle Tony's house in Tobyhanna, and he gave me the newspaper. He still reads the newspaper, and there was like
Wow.
12 or 15 pages of short sales in his area there. And I was like, oh my God, these are like great deals. And I'm going through each one of them, and he's like, see which one you want. And I thought he was going to give me money to buy them all. And and I said to him, why am I even reading this? I'm not a realtor here. But it looked like, if I was a realtor, these are the people that I'd be trying to help to get
Ab-
them out of that hole.
Absolutely. And what your uncle did is sort of one of the tactics I use. I do look at the list pending report because it is published.
Hmm.
So if I see a list pending, then I know that that seller or potential seller may need help.
How do people react to you when you call them, and they're in the paper? And how do they react? Do they tell you to basically go scratch, or are they grateful that you called them?
It depends on the day and the mood. But, I
which
try.
which wait a minute, whose mood and which day?
I start off very gently, and when I say I start off gently, I will mail them a postcard or a personalized card, just saying, "Hey, I'm a local realtor. I won't mention the list pending. I'm here to help with anything you may need."
That's
And
cool.
and and I'll do a very gentle approach because again, you don't know. There could be pride within that fact. Hey, nobody should know this. Like, I don't want to talk about this. There could be other things happening in the dynamics. So I don't want to just say, hey, I saw your name in the newspaper. Did you know that all your neighbors could see that you want me to sell your house? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to go very gently, very nicely. I'll send, they'll get a total of 3 personalized notes from me within a 1 week span. And then I'll go knock on the door.
I like personalized notes. I think personalized notes are better than any generic postcard that, with the stamp. And even the personalized signature is great because it shows that came from you. It was something you actually sat down, you thought about it.
Yeah.
You didn't just sit there and just target a whole group of 50, 60 people in one block. It's awesome.
I know a lot of people enjoy farming. I don't enjoy farming.
No,
No,
why not?
I rather hunt.
Well, you are up there. Okay.
But but again, what you just said, that 50, 60 postcards to like, I don't do that. So the expireds list, I'll target that person. I'm hunting. you know, the list pending. I'm going to that person particular, not the whole block, not the entire block.
Right.
So because I'm going after people that I know need help right now, I have a greater chance of getting a FaceTime with them.
I see. So, what would be your advice to someone new coming into the real estate industry? Um, just wanting to get started, trying to find a niche, whether they're a listing agent, are they a listing agent? What would be your best advice for them?
Before doing what I ended up doing, because I think I wasted a lot of time trying different techniques. Write down a list of what you currently enjoy doing. And once you write down what you like to do, then see where that fits better. Um, and for example, enjoys talking to people, likes problem solving. Just, figure that piece out. If you're a problem solver, then you can, that gives us an indication that, hey, maybe short sales would be your gig. If
Mm,
you like solve, because you're solving a problem. You know,
absolutely.
if you enjoy more the conversational and help first time buyers, then a buyer's agent. Just write down a list of what you like to do outside of real estate. Do you enjoy going to the bar and just chatting? That may be more of a buyer's agent, because you it's more conversational. It's more of a, at least here in Pennsylvania, it's a lot easier. I don't know about New York.
We have a lot of bars now.
I don't know if I'm making
There's a lot of drinking going on with
there's a lot of
agency.
drinking here as well, but I don't know if I'm making it clear, like
No,
that.
no, you're right. You're right.
y-
Hmm.
you know I made, and I don't want to say a mistake, because I don't believe that they're mistakes. I just took a little longer finding my path, because I remember taking my first short sale and not having any idea what I was doing with it, and not reaching out to the right people to help me with my
Right.
first
It's
one.
true.
And so it turned me off.
Yeah.
And my first, I'm sorry, let me retract that. My first short sale was on the buy side,
Mm.
but I had no clue what I was doing.
What a learning
It
experience.
was real learn. It was trial by fire. Seriously. When I got my first short sale listing, I still didn't know what I was doing, but I had that knowledge from being on the buyer side,
Yeah.
that I had an inkling. And then I knew, okay, you know what? Let me reach out to people who do this and see what wisdom they can impart on me. And then once I learned what the real process was, yes, I got it closed. Yes, we did it in record time, because I did things the way exactly how they told me to do it. I enjoy the process, but I rather work with a short sale company who's gonna take the process off of my plate. You know what I mean? I'll do the initial contact, the initial consultation. I'll be the point person for the seller, but I'd rather do, the reaching out to the lender, the all that other stuff that you do.
You
That's
have to have a lot of patience for that too.
and right, and the time consuming aspect of it. I'd rather work with, but I learned that over time. I'd rather give it to a short sale company and pay them, because
I
they're
call my friend, I think you met him. I call my friend Ozzy all the time. He's got stacks and stacks and stacks of files, and he works on them all day long. I don't know how he does it. He has the patience of a saint for this kind of business.
yeah.
But
So, but I learned that over time. I learned that over time, and if there's anything I would have wished I had done back then, was to sit down and really assess where my strong points were.
and what would you tell an older agent in the business? Your best advice for listing and being patient.
Don't be afraid of change.
Mm, I've heard that one before.
Don't
That's a
be
pretty
afraid.
good one.
Actually, that was one that I learned back in my corporate days. We were going through a merger and some changes, some internal changes and structural uh, company changes, and we ended up coining a saying: "Change energizes us."
Mm, that's a good one. I like that.
I brought that into real estate with me. Don't be afraid of change. Change will energize you.
So, we teach new agents here on this program, and we also ask our guests
Yeah.
a final question, and that is
Uh-oh.
with the with the laws of agency, which one would be your favorite if you had to pick one? I know all of them are important, but
Yeah.
if you had to pick one favorite out of the fiduciary duties of old car, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, and reasonable care, which one would Alexa Sanchez pick? Which
That's
one is the favorite?
that's hard because for me, loyalty is very, very important. Um, However, I stick to accountability a lot because it says a lot about you as a person. It's your integrity. If you're accountable for things and you're you have integrity. You your word. But I also really like disclosure because that saves your butt. you know the saying disclose, disclose, disclose. That
Somehow I knew you were going to pick like from a couple of them because we've had this. I've never eaten with you, but you probably hit the type of person, I'll have a little bit of this. And oh no, we have ate. We did eat. We did eat.
Boston.
That's why we did have a couple of appetizers here
And I
and
had a little bit of that.
you were picking from each one. Well, this has been great. I really really enjoyed this interview, having you on a show. I wish you a lot of success. You're going to be getting your New York State real estate license
Yes.
pretty soon. That's 2 licenses for you, and you serve on your board, your
Yeah.
association.
So I took a year off from being a director, but I do serve at the state level. I am, if I can say it on here, the RPAC fundraising vice chair for my state.
Very nice.
And at NAR, well, I serve at NAR in different committees, and I serve where they need me, where there is a place for me, and I enjoy serving.
And not only do you serve, but you do make a difference in everything you do. The people you meet, you certainly made an impact on this guy right here. Um, and I wouldn't change a thing about our friendship.
Me neither. You're awesome. This is awesome that you're doing this for students.
Thank you.
Um, I want to share it with people here. What your page. So the page, I'm just going to share.
Absolutely.
You have some really good stuff here, and I hope I did give you some nuggets.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's any real nuggets in what I
more
said.
more importantly is, in this COVID-19 environment, we laugh a lot, and we exchange virtual hugs with each other. So I want to give you a hug out to you, Alexa, and I want to thank you for being my guest on this week's Sonona Speak Seminars Coffee Talk with the Listing Pros in Real Estate. And please tune in to Sonona Speak Seminars on Facebook, 11 o'clock on Fridays, where we will host Coffee Talk with such fine listing pros as Alexa Sanchez. Well, thank you very much again. And I look forward to seeing you at one of our conferences or in
What
the future sometime.
the
When I
next?
go see my Uncle Tony, I'll call you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We'll have ice cream.
Well, definitely. Definitely. I can't pass up ice cream. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.